Hi everyone, this is Marianne from Revealing Light, Tarot, Astrology and Spirituality. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks also for your comments, your support, your donations to the charities that are helping in Ukraine on instead of donating to me. I really thank you for that. I think it's important that we all help as much as we can, given that the Russians are really so barbaric what they're doing in Ukraine. My last couple of readings were really, I found it interesting to look back in hindsight. One was looking at or making sense of what was going on at the collective, to try and take that big picture view, to try and take that higher view, which always drags us up out of, perhaps that kind of world weariness that we're probably all feeling. Well, I know I was. I feel, that this invasion of Ukraine, the genocide that is being committed, the war crimes, without a doubt, committed in Ukraine, will come to an end. And to that end, I do want to have a look at that. I do feel there's a way to go yet. I also want to check again for my friends in Europe and the US whether or not Putin intends to use a nuclear missile. He has tested that, and it is a nuclear long-range distance missile, and he's threatening Europe and the US. If they help Ukraine, I could easily fire this missile again. We'll take another look at that. The other reading that I do want to reference is I did a reading on Donbass, if you haven't seen that yet, the battle for Donbass. And I included in that another look. I had previously seen that Macron would win the French elections. Extremely critical that he does, whether you like or you don't like him. It really doesn't matter. The opposition candidate is one of Putin's allies, and, it will undermine everything if she's elected. That reading that I did showed that, there were one of two outcomes. One, she could very well win. And I thought, no, that can't be right, because my previous readings have shown Macron winning by a small margin. And I also felt Mélenchon's, the far left candidate, his voters would make a difference, even though a lot of them aren't going to vote or have said that they're going to abstain from voting from anyone. I did feel enough would get Macron over the line. But there was something else in that reading that made my antenna prick up, and that was the possibility of Le Pen being involved in a money type of scandal. As it turns out, on the 19th of April, the EU has said they are now investigating allegations that she misused EU funds when she was representing in the EU Parliament. Her party was represented in the EU Parliament. So they're now launching an official investigation. It reminded me of the grifting that these politicians do in the name of far-right rhetoric. And of course, that brings me also to another breaking story, and that is there's conjecture that this whole banning of books in Florida by Ron DeSantis is linked to pushing business to one book publisher. And that book publisher has connections to the governor, the recently elected governor in Virginia, Glenn Youngkin. So, where does it stop? Le Pen has stood for election how many times? Three times, 4 times, whatever it is, and continues to build her wealth through politics. Her 2016 campaign was funded in part by Putin in Russia. So she has close ties to Vladimir Putin, the war criminal. So, having said all that, let's take a look at one of the important, questions that have come through my email. I don't usually read on what other people get, but this this email struck me as really worth looking at. It is from Estonia. And I'm just going to say Maris has sent this. I hope I'm pronouncing your name correctly. Now, she has said that she has a question. She doesn't know who to ask. And so she sent this through. It concerns a vision that she's had for 2022. And she doesn't consider herself psychic, but this vision has been quite prominent in her third eye, or in her imagination, her intuition. She saw that in March a tar black, thick, sticky substance all over the month. She saw that this tar returns at the end of June, and that around the 12th or 14th of July it is gone, like cut with the knife, gone. She sees herself standing at the beginning of a road, tar behind her. That road is metallic and reflects light. The colour is the colour of the €2 coin, which is a greenish golden. She did a lot of thinking about what that colour might mean. The road is not slippery. There is a lot of light in that road. It is empty, long and a wide road, and she feels very calm. Now, straight away, my intuition, your intuition is going to go to the invasion of Ukraine, which has that huge impact on Europe. How would you like to live next door to a country that could invade yours, or alternatively send a tactical strike nuclear missile your way? It would be just so horrendous to see up close and personal what is going on in another sovereign country in Ukraine. So my intuition straight away tells me that she is thinking and imagining and looking at and picking up, intuiting perhaps an end to hostility, an end to the invasion of Ukraine in July, and hence the calm wide road. She does pick up the 12th or 14th of July as being very, very significant. But she also, in that regard, but she also picks up the end of July is very precarious. So I just want to tap into that vision, if I can, of Maris's from Estonia, and see what we can make. So let's go to that road. What is likely to occur around the end of June? So I am seeing a table full of negotiators from both sides. So around the end of June, we get quite a strong negotiation coming through. I'm also seeing an aircraft carrier and someone unpacking something, getting something ready. Now, what is this? It looks like they're troops. I'm not sure whether they are... Yeah, there's action of troops on the ground. Very, very significant at the end of June. Let's see what else I can see. So it looks to me like there's an intensification of the battle toward the end of June, and that's followed by fairly intense negotiations around that negotiation table. There are a lot of people sitting at that table as well. So let's see, what is this? It's forward movement. It's not Russian troops I'm seeing. Who are you? What troops am I seeing? I'm also seeing the Pope as well coming through and looking like he's conducting some kind of ceremony because of something that has intensified. So we do see an intensification toward the end of June. What is this? Let's go to this aircraft carrier. What is this? Looks like it's like airborne dropping in of troops is what I'm getting, and they're not Russian troops. All right, let's go to, so an intensification following some and a movement forward of troops. Yeah, I think it is a particular, I don't want to alarm anybody, and I'm not into that. I'm not going to say it's a nuclear drop, but it is something fairly significant that occurs, which mobilizes perhaps an outside force to come in, or reinforcements, something along those lines. It could even be troops from those countries surrounding Ukraine, so not necessarily NATO. We are seeing remaking of alliances in Europe. It could even be something like that. Reinforcements to the Ukrainians from countries surrounding Ukraine and supporting Ukraine's fight against the Russian invasion. So let's see what we can see through the cards, asking specific questions. Okay. So what is this event that occurs, according to Maris's vision, toward the end of June? So we see something with this Seven of Swords. It's really quite sinister type energy, the Seven of Swords. It's like something is being stolen. So there is a huge, push toward Russia to take country. And they'll take it by force. We see the Chariot, so there's a quickening up by June of the Russian offensive. But there's also, because they're going so quick for whatever reason, it is again, that Chariot again, it is again problematic for the Russians because they're having to go so quick. Equally, Ukraine has to match that speed. So toward the end of June, where are we? We're almost into May now, end of April, May. So toward the end of June, we see a quickening up of something. But we also see the Queen of Swords coming through here. So this looks like a strategy. Perhaps the war's gone on too long. Perhaps whatever happens in June is so diabolical that an outside force comes in. We have the Hierophant in the past, so we have a government coming in before government, an institution coming in before the end of June here. The Hierophant is also the Pope, that papal image that I got. In the sky we have the Six of Wands, so we have victory, a potential for victory as a result of what occurs toward the end of June. It's definitely good news for Ukraine. Whatever this is, it swings, in some way swings the tide in their favour. The Knight of Pentacles, their soldiers, sustained effort. The Queen of Pentacles, the environment around monetary stability, domestic stability. Of course, Ukraine's receiving tremendous amount of funding. On the other end of the spectrum, the sanctions are really hurting Russia. Right now, they're hurting Russia. In the hopes and fears, we see alliances, good for the good and for the bad as well. And we see the Three of Wands. So overseas interests, but also having done enough work to potentially carry this victory through. And we have America. Somehow America steps up toward the end of June. That is my card for Biden. Oh, yeah. Okay. So that's pretty clear. In some way, whether it's existing support or more support or troops on the ground, somehow what the US and the EU are doing is tipping the war in Ukraine's favour. It's like miracles. Miracles are occurring. So we have the Ace of Cups and the Page of Swords. So after an intensification, you get potentially victory coming forward through the support of outside of Ukraine coming through to help Ukraine. It's a long way away, isn't it? So what is this intensification that I'm seeing? What is this intensification? What is this intensification that I'm seeing with US-led support? What is this intensification in June? Is there a particular event that mobilizes? I do think it's soldiers coming in from outside of Ukraine. I don't know how that's going to happen, but we've got defense, helping one defend oneself. Let's see, what is this event in June? What is this event? Okay, the Page of Pentacles, young people, moving, inching forward in the defense. What is this intensification? Okay, yeah, look, it's good news for Ukraine. I mean, my reading suggested that while they would take a loss, some kind of more immediate loss in eastern Ukraine, ultimately they would win. Okay, so we have Review and Page of Cups, something very unexpected. We do have Justice coming through here and the Star. So I'm going to say that there is increased help for Ukraine after the battle intensifies in June, which leads to ultimately peace talks in July, negotiations in July that Russia will accept. Now, Putin testing his nuclear long-range missile. Putin testing his long-range missile. I had another viewer frightened that somehow nuclear missiles were hidden in Cuba. I pointed out there was no need for that because the distance between the Russian coast and Alaska is like something like 88 kilometers. There's no need to stash them in Cuba because they can just fire them off the coast. All right, that is something I've not seen, but he's threatening. We have to take his threats seriously. He is a larger version of North Korea, Kim Jong-un. Okay. Will he use this long range or tactical, any sort of tactical missile strike? Queen of Cups, something to be revealed. The Hanged Man, so paused at the moment. Okay, the lid's still on the cup, but with the Queen of Cups, it can be opened. So I'm saying that right now, the signifier cards are showing that he wouldn't, but here's our Six of Wands in order to obtain a victory. Three of Wands, again, the allies, the assistance that is being given to Ukraine from over the seas. We have the Star of Hope, cautioning us not to let our fear run away. We also have Justice. Now, Justice in his mind could be about evening the scales. And a lot of anxiety around this question. And we have the Page of Wands, perhaps something being done. It's not on a grand scale. The Empress card, there's just so much fear. That's my card for Russia. But it's also the longer this draws on, the more potential there is to create world instability because of food shortages, supply chain shortages. Page of Pentacles is the outcome card. You know, I think it's possible he could do something. I didn't see that before, but it's not on a grand scale. We have the Page of Cups. It's going to be unexpected, come out of the blue. But there's also hope yet that he will review that decision. Perhaps what occurs is that the US, she is, it's something we can't foresee. It comes out of the blue, giving and receiving help, targeting those that have helped Ukraine, possibly in the US. Now, we see here the stability of Russia, the sanctions. He's got to answer back. He's got to have retribution for that. And so here we have our Chariot again, but with the Queen of Wands, the courage, the bravery, we have also an ending and a new beginning. So this as well as the Six of Swords, even though this indicates that he may, although there's hope yet, fire something off. It's not a major. I mean, I feel really uncomfortable even saying that, but it does mobilize. It does mobilize Allied forces to come in and finish this up, particularly the US. It could be that the US gets intelligence of an impending strike and moves in to stop that, because that would be a red line in the sand for NATO as well. And perhaps that is how this unfolds. Intelligence indicates he's going to do that, and they come in and put an end to this. Is this how it's going to go? Please, 3 or 4 cards. Is this how it's going to go? Will they stop him before he fires anything off? Will they stop Putin? I'm feeling, yes, this is what brings them in. So we've got the Victory card, and we've got the 3 of Wands. Again, these cards are repeatedly coming up. Will they stop it? Yeah. So I'm feeling that that's miracles, wish fulfillment. So much is lost, but there's 1 cup remaining. We have the Page of Swords and the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Wands. Whoa. This invasion is finished, I think, by the time we get to around the end of June, and by July, I feel that perhaps there's an opportunity for peace. But I feel that it comes, these were all yes cards. I feel it comes through the knowledge that he could be getting ready to do this, and that's what finally mobilizes. And after that, there's peace talks, and I'm not seeing Russia having a big bargaining hand at that table. Is this the case? Is this the case? Does Russia have a big King of Cups? No, that's the US. Does Russia have a big, I guess, bargaining hand at the negotiation table? I don't think so. So we've got the fighting, and we also have the families, the citizens. I feel that they're going to have to pay for what they've done to citizens. No, they don't. They're the Page of Wands. So it feels like this is the US also getting directly involved here. And we've got the Knight of Swords. Yeah, okay. So, no, Russia is not strong at that negotiation table by the time we get to the end of June and July. So that's the next few months in relation to this. I think I was going to read on a lot of other things, but I think that's enough. That's the way I see it panning out. Oh, yeah, I do. This is my last reading before the French elections. I just want a few cards which will show me clearly, do the money scandals around Le Pen make a difference? Can Macron win this election? Can the current French president win this election? Which is what I've seen in my past readings. So we get the King of Cups here again. But we've got a lot of partisanship, a lot of polarization of views. I'm not going to gild this lily. People are having a difficult time making a choice. The Knight of Wands, though, we've got movement in the past. Okay, what is that? That came up in my last reading. That is movement. And Macron is a Sagittarius, but he's also on the cusp of Capricorn, hence the King of Pentacles. there's movement, or there has been movement toward Macron, because that's in the past reading. Because of why? Because of this, partially because of this Three of Pentacles. There is a perception that Le Pen is involved in some kind of dark money. Three of Pentacles also is partnerships and collaborations that we don't necessarily see. Immediate future, we have retreat. Somebody is wounded in battle. That's just a figurative speech. Somebody is wounded. Why? Because something has emerged regarding money. We have the sun. This is always full illumination. That is going on now. This week has been critical for Macron in this election. And we get people looking at things in a different way. It's like suspending and having another look at things. These are people who may have been undecided, stopping and going, hang on a minute, I got to look at this a bit more closely. We do have the Four of Cups in the hopes and fears. You know, not their preferred candidate, but here we go. Here's a cup here. Now let's see what the outcome card is. The Nine of Pentacles. These scandals have cost her. The question was, can Macron win? With a preface or a preamble around these money scandals. The Nine of Pentacles would suggest he does win. That's another yes card, the Eight of Wands. But it is also, you see how layered these cards are, it is also the headlines around what? Luxury, money, etc. The headlines, the amount of headlines that are coming in. And we've got the moon, something coming to the surface. Look how quickly it came to the surface. So, yeah. Okay, there's a little bit of concern around electing Le Pen. Queen of Wands and the Chariot card. You're going to see, I think it's women come out and support Macron, whereas before they may not have. They are not going to support Le Pen. Why? Because of her relationships. With who? With Putin, and we see the monetary situation here, all that dark money. So I go back to my original readings. I think I've done about 4. The layers, it's incredible. That's why I love tarot cards, because of it's not easy to get to the truth. You actually have to interrogate the cards. Okay, I'm pleased to say that that's in line with my previous readings, and this has also picked up the money scandal, which is damaging Le Pen right now and her connections with Vladimir Putin. That's my reading. I'll be back later on, so you can see the way that the EU, the US, and we've got NATO in there, and Ukraine and Russia, and particularly I just want to shout out to those countries around Ukraine that are small, perhaps in terms of GDP, but huge and large in their generosity. I do also want to a special mention to the Czech Republic, who have given heavy artillery to Ukraine. They all do so. They all do so with risk of a tactical, dare I say, nuclear strike. But anyway, I think that by end of June, possibly July, in line with Maris's vision, I think you're correctly picking up an end to this, certainly the most active part of this invasion, and some kind of negotiations coming through. I definitely see soldiers in Ukraine helping the Ukrainians. Okay, they're not Russian troops. Okay, bye for now.